Hi there and welcome to this practice. My name is Kelsey and today I'm going to guide you through a Yin Yoga practice that's themed around the zodiac sign of Pisces. Pisces represents creativity, imagination, and a deep capacity for having empathy. Being the final sign in the wheel of the zodiac, they have integrated all of the deep work that is done through the wheel of the astrological signs, and that makes them very sensitive to others and extremely wise. Pisces is ruled by Neptune, so there is an element of dreaminess with this sign, with this season. However, it's important to stay grounded even though those dreams are a really important part of our psyche. Having that rose-colored and dreamy vision really helps in any creative modality. So today we are practicing Yin Yoga to practice staying grounded while still exploring those deep emotions and creative ideas. I invite you to even bring a journal close to your mat if you have one, and to write down anything that comes to mind, maybe even taking time after practice to continue to work with the energies of Pisces. For practice today, I'm using 2 blocks and a bolster. You will need something similar to these props for practice today for the first couple of poses. If you do not have a bolster, you can use anything that is bolster-like, so a bed pillow, a couch cushion. If you don't have blocks, again, you can use a pillow instead. So we'll start to make our way into our first yin pose, which is going to be butterfly fish. We'll be using the bolster going wide ways across the mat, and 1 block just ahead, maybe on its medium setting. You can always lower it or heighten it if this setting is uncomfortable for you. And then 1 more block just ahead of that. Coming into butterfly fish. So turn yourself around, bring your bolster up towards your back, and then recline down over the bolster so that it's supporting mostly your ribs and your shoulders are kind of floating here. And then locate your block and bring it underneath the back of your head, either on its medium setting or again lowering it if that feels better to you. Arms rest out into a T shape or a cactus shape. Soles of the feet together, knees go apart. Let your legs be heavy, soften through the muscles in your inner thighs and your groin. And once you have adjusted your props in any way you need to, begin to settle into stillness. Notice your natural breath, maybe slowing it down just slightly. And as we stay in each pose for about 3 minutes, focus on those qualities of Pisces that we discussed at the beginning of practice. Connecting to your creativity, to your intuition, your emotions, being empathetic towards others, all while staying connected to your body, staying in your body, feeling everything that comes up. Take another breath in as you are. And exhale, let it go with a sigh. Now bring your hands down towards your thighs. Help close your legs like you're closing a book. Soles of your feet to the mat. And widen your feet to the width of your mat. We're moving into mermaid, a variation of deer pose. You're going to let both knees drop over to the right. Roll over onto your right side ribs. From here, you may need to lift up a little bit and scoot yourself more so onto your mat, but your right leg, your bottom leg, is staying forward, and your top leg, the knees pointing down towards the bottom of the mat. So you kind of have two 90-degree angles or two zigzag shapes. Threading your right arm through the space between the bolster and the block, and then letting your head rest down on the block. And this is where that extra block comes into play. You reach your left arm up overhead and let your hand find the block. I like to have it on its medium setting and just let my left arm rest alongside my left ear. Breath awareness goes into your left side body. It is a side bend. If having the block underneath your hand gets uncomfortable in your shoulder, you can scoot it out of the way and just let your left hand find the floor. No muscular effort. Soften your eyes or close your eyes. Melt into the pose. Notice what your mind creates in the spaciousness and the silence of each pose. Notice what your mind is capable of whenever it's not limited. Just allowing everything to come to the surface, acknowledging it, and let it go. Take another breath in the pose. Exhale. Bring your left hand in front of you, maybe onto the pillow or bolster, and help yourself rise up a little bit away from the props. For the next pose, we're coming into swan. So you'll need to move your bolster or your pillow out of the way. Frame your hands towards the shorter edge of your mat and pick up your hips, square your hips to your mat, bring your right knee behind your right wrist, and then walk your left leg back any amount, extending back through that left leg. And here I like to place one block underneath my rib cage and another block underneath my forehead so that my arms don't have to do as much work. Coming down to your forearms or onto blocks, soften into your hips. You can also use your props under your hips if that feels good. Come back to your breath as we exist in this pose for some time. Take another breath in. Exhale, start to make your way out of the pose, onto your hands. Just shift your hips to your right side and swing your left leg around. I like to take some time extending my legs and just kind of bouncing it out. Windshield wiper your toes or take the toes in circles. And then from here, we're just moving into those same two poses on the opposite side. So I'm going to be facing the other direction so that I can stay facing you. And I'm going to move a little bit further down my mat than before, just because I have my plant friends around me. And so I don't want them invading my personal space, nor do they want me invading theirs. So leaning onto your left hip, your bolster is going to go sideways across your mat. You can pull it pretty close to your left hip. Left leg is forward, right knee is pointing down towards the shorter edge of your mat, and then one block goes under your head, another block towards the top of your mat, and then lay down onto your left side on the bolster. Rest your head down just in any way that you need to. Eventually, right arm reaches alongside your ear. Maybe your right hand comes to the block, or you just let your right arm rest alongside your head, right hand to the floor. And breathe into your right side body. Mermaid pose. So we started in that butterfly fish pose, opening into the hips, opening into our heart. Now in a mermaid pose, making our way to earth, being more grounded, while still feeling comfortable wading deep into our emotions. Take another breath in. Exhale to release. Right hand down. Press down to rise up. Shifting into swan. So scoot your pillow or your bolster off to the side. Frame your hands towards the shorter edge of your mat. Pick your hips up and move your left knee behind your left wrist. Walk back through the right leg. And then lower down onto any props that you like to use in this pose. Again, I like to have one under my ribs and one underneath my head, but maybe you prefer something under your hips or under your hands or your arms. Send your breath deep and low into your lungs, feeling your low belly expand as you breathe in. Soften through your hips as you breathe out. Take another breath in here. Exhale, start to reverse out of the pose. Lean over to your left hip this time, and same as before, you can extend your legs, lean back onto your hands for a beat, and just stretch out your legs, point and flex your toes. From here, we're going to lay down all the way to our back. You won't need your props for these last poses, and so just moving them off to the side, lowering all the way down to your back. Taking a brief pause whenever you get there to feel the floor beneath you. And we'll close with a variation on a twist, twisted roots. You're going to cross your right thigh over your left thigh. And then you might pick your hips up and move them slightly over to the left as you draw your legs in, and then let both of your legs drop over to the right. Reach your left arm out beside you. This is Turkey, if you're looking at the video. She lives here at the studio that I teach at. And so your left arm reaches out beside you. It's normal if that left arm floats away from the ground a little bit, but you're trying to keep your chest facing the sky as your legs move over to the right. If you still have those props handy, you could use a block or pillow underneath your legs just to bring the earth a little bit closer to you if the pose without the prop is a little too intense. On your next inhale, float your legs back up. Slowly and mindfully uncross and come back to your back. Moving your hips back into the center of your mat. Pause again. Feel the difference between each pose. That's a pretty intense twist. Let your nervous system and your body rest back into equilibrium. And then we'll do that same pose on the other side. Cross your right thigh over your left this time. Press into your left foot and maybe scoot your hips over a little bit to the right. Draw your legs in and then let both legs drop to the left, and then open your chest up towards the sky. Reaching your right arm out beside you. Once again, if you still have those props close enough by that you could pull one under your legs and you think that would support you, go ahead and do that for yourself. We're going to be here for the same amount of time as the other side. And this is our last pose before we rest in Shavasana for just a little bit of time. Begin to close up any unfinished business internally. Really getting to the root of what this practice was about for you. Imagination, creativity, intuition. Maybe staying grounded while experiencing your emotions. Or just simply honoring the energy of Pisces. Just by being present. Take another breath in. Exhale, return your legs to center. Uncross. And scoot your hips back to the center of your mat. Take one more little pause here. You're welcome to stay resting in constructive rest. Soles of your feet touching down, staying nice and grounded in this Shavasana choice. You could extend your legs long, or if you still have your bolster or your pillow nearby, I like to place that underneath the space between my mat and my knees. And this just allows for the lower back to soften down a little bit more. Resting a little bit more neutrally. So if you have a natural curve in your lower back, this can feel really nice. And then just letting the weight of your body go into the supports that you've chosen. We'll rest here for just a little bit of time, and then you'll hear my voice when it's time to come out. Enjoy your Shavasana. Remaining just as you are, bring your awareness to your breath again. Maybe start to deepen your breath. And let the movement of your breath in your body inspire you to start wiggling your fingers and your toes, wrists and ankles, maybe nodding your head side to side. Maybe taking a big full body stretch, reaching out from your fingers to your toes. And then use a breath out to soften and let it go. In your own time, knees come into your body, roll over to your right side, and press yourself back up to a comfortable seat where I will meet you. And sit up nice and tall in your seat. Soften your eyes down or close your eyes. And take a moment to acknowledge what has come up for you in your Pisces Yin Yoga practice. Maybe you take the time after this to journal or do anything creative that is calling your name. Maybe you set an intention for the rest of your day or for the rest of Pisces season. And then with your intention and gratitude in your heart, bring your palms together in front of your heart. And we'll close by taking a breath in and sighing it out. Thank you all for practicing with me. I hope that this has served you well today and that you enjoyed class. Let me know how it went for you in the comments down below. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. And if you haven't subscribed already, I put out a new class like this every single Sunday. So I hope that you will join me on the mat again next Sunday, and I will see you there. Thank you again. Namaste.